Hi everyone, and welcome back to our crafting table series. In the last two episodes, we've set up our crafting system back end. We now need to work on the front end side of things, so making the UI so we can actually test this out and see if everything's working. So let's jump in and take a look at how we build the widgets to help show this. So let's build our widgets. So in the crafting folder here, we're going to create a little UI for it. And go to user widgets. There. Okay, so we're going to do a crafting menu. And the crafting menu is going to contain a list of inventory on the left hand side, and then on the right hand side is going to be our table where we can place and drag and drop our items onto that to help it determine what it should be adding to our inventory, adding to our craft. So we've got two sections here, so let's break this down into a horizontal box. Oh, that's the wrong search box, isn't it? Up here, horizontal box. And inside that, we're going to have a scroll box, which would be our inventory on the left. And then we're going to have a, let's do a canvas panel, make it a bit more pretty. A canvas panel on the right, which would be the content. So I'm going to set them both and set them to fill. And I can push them like to the side here, but I'm going to give it more focus to the crafting menu. So on the scroll box here, the inventory, and I'm going to change the fill amount here from 1 to 0.5. It gives you a bit more precedence to our crafting system. Next up is the actual design of these things. So I'm going to wrap my scroll box here with a border, and we'll change the brush color here to black and make it a little bit pretty. I'm going to change the draw as here to a rounded box and change the rounding type here from fixed to fixed radius. And I'll put in the corner radii here of 30 by 30 by 30 by 30. That should give us nice rounded corners like this. Okay, and let's give it some padding around the whole entire thing. So I'm going to click on the border. And on padding here, we'll do 50. Similarly, over here, we're going to do that as well. Exactly the same. Do border. And we're going to do padding here of 50. Brush color, black. Draw out rounded box, fixed radius, 30 by 30 by 30 by 30. Okay, and there's our content. So we need to make the inventory slots, and we also need to make the crafting slots. So let's make those. So we'll make another widget. And that'll be W crafting slot. And make another one. W inventory slot. So let's do the inventory slot first. Now I imagine it's been a bit wider one, so like a row essentially. And I want this to be a let's do a button, and I'm going to change that there to be called button. And I'm going to change the background color of this to be see-through. Like that. Okay. Next up, we're going to have a horizontal box in it. Horizontal box. And put an image in there for the icon, along with text. And then I'm going to have a little button, not button, like a pin thing on it, which is going to have the number, the quantity on it. So we're going to have on there, let's do a border with another text inside that border. Okay, so I'm going to put design on screen so you can kind of see my vision here. I'm going to click on this over here, and brush image size here, we'll do 50 by 50. Text size, I'm going it down to like 16 and center it like that. Bit of padding on the left. That'll be quite good. And then this border on the far right here, I want it to not be stretched along in the alignment. So I'm going to put that center. The text block in the side of it, we're going to change the color of this to be black. And it's going to be a number. So we'll put in 99 as a demo to help us see this. And the border, I'm going to change it from image to rounded box. And I'm going to leave it as a half height radius, so it should make it all round. Okay, now it's not perfectly round because the image inside is not square enough with the size of this thing. So what I'm going to do is right click on border, wrap with a size box, and force it into a square size. So I'm going to change that to 50 by 50. We get now a circle. And with the text then, I just need to center that there, like that. Okay, I do want to give a bit of padding to the text here. So I'm going to put padding on the right here. We'll do 20 as well there. But more importantly, I want the text here to fill. So it's going to push this box here to the far right. Okay, and I can see that if I do custom on screen, change the width here to, oh, let's change that to 600. We want it to be 600, but we want it to push it all the way across. So horizontal box here, fill the whole thing. There you go. So that's now filling the whole space up. You can see it's pushing that number across there. Okay. Okay, and that's my inventory slot. So on that graph here, we need to make it so when we set an image to it, set an item to it, it changes the image, icons, all that stuff. So this will be the item data asset. Search for it, DA item, and whether editable and exposed on spawn. And on the pre-construct, we take the item here and we check to see if it's valid. And if it's valid, I'm going to take the image and set brush from texture, and that'd be the icon from our data asset. And then the name, which I didn't make variable, name, and I'll do this one whilst I'm here, text quantity, make them both variable so that we can go into here and set the text to the name of the item. Okay. So to help test this out, if I were to also make the, that should be fine. If I go to the designer view and click on the inventory slot up here on the hierarchy, I can choose the item from the list and I can see what it's going to do. Okay, there you go, berry. Change it to flower, done. So that all works. And if I want to see how this looks in the actual menu, which is normally what I do, is I'll go into my main menu here, search my inventory slot, and throw them into here to see what they look like all next to each other. So I may say, like, actually I want a bit of padding between these. So I'll go to the inventory slot parent and hierarchy, add padding of, say, 10. And it will now push all the padding in like that. Okay. So it gives me a chance to see what it's going to look like. Okay, so that's our inventory slot. So now we need to do the crafting slot. So let's go to crafting slot. And this I feel like it's just going to be a square. So we're going to do a button. And on this button here, we're going to have in the style here, on normal, I change the tint here to have no alpha, 0 alpha. I'm going to draw as rounded box. And the reason I'm doing rounded box is because then you get an outline setting, which you can turn on. So I'll make that white and give it a width of 3. And I'll do custom screen of 100 by 100. And I want it to not use the brush transparency. So that way I can see it regardless of the transparency of the actual slot. Okay. And that's pretty good for me. I quite like that. And I'm just going to copy that from normal to hovered, pressed, and disabled. Okay. Quick button there. There we go. Okay. So on here now, I need it so it can be set a item. So make a function here, set item. And the item will come through as an input. And we'll promote that to a variable. And I'll just rename it actually to be assigned item. Okay. With the item assigned, we can then change the properties of inside of our button here. So I'm going to put an image in here. And the image, I want to fill the available space. But you see, you get weird padding because it's a button. I'm going to go to the button here and change the normal padding here to be just like, let's say 5 and 5. And then click on the padding for the button slot and put that at 0. That's a bit nicer. So this image here, we'll rename, make sure it's variable. But we want to make it sure it's invisible at the start. So we'll go to visibility, hidden. And on the graph, when we set the item, we check to see if it's valid. And if it's valid, I'm going to take the image here and set its visibility to visible. Otherwise, I want it to be hidden. Okay. Next up is putting these crafting slots onto our crafting menu. So let's go to a crafting menu. Now I made this a canvas panel so I can easily place these wherever I want. I'm going to do a little fancy pattern with them. So I'm going to do a crafting slot. And this one I'm going to turn to size the content. I actually might make it bigger than that. So let me go back to the crafting slot. And go to the designer view. Right click with that. Wrap with a size box. Width and height override of, let's say, 120 by 120. Let's see what that looks like. That's a bit better. So yeah, I want to put this in here. Now, where I anchor it is up to you, really, in this case, because it doesn't really matter too much, because it's going to be based on what, well, the anchor, what it does is it bases the distance and position of the item itself based upon the anchor. So if I move it here, the distance is provided here, the position is relative to this point here. Now, in this case, it might be beneficial to move the anchor point here to the center. So I'm going to do a center point. And the alignment of this, I'm going to change to 0.5 and 0.5. So rather than using the top left of the item here as the measuring point, it uses the center point. So now I'll position this wherever I want it to go. So in position wise, I'm going to make a little star shape basically around it. So the first position, I'm going to go 0, 0. And in the Y here, I'm going to put in -200. Okay, there's the first one. Duplicate that. And this one is going to go up to the right a little bit. I could work it out properly, but I'm not going to. But there we go. Position X here, we'll do, let's say 100, no, 200. -50. Sure. And that one's going to be the inverse, so it'd be -200. Like that. And this one will do -50. And 200 there. This is absolute rubbish star, isn't it? let's just do it by eye. It don't matter too much. You design it however you want to design it. Let's just move it away from the anchor so I don't actually move the anchor. That'll do. Screw it. But yeah, you do literally whatever you want to do in terms of design. It could be just a list. It's up to you. But yeah, there we go. Okay. So that is our crafting menu. Now I want to populate this crafting menu, especially the scroll box here, with our inventory items. So we're going to tick that on as a variable. Call it box and call it inventory. And I'm going to go to the graph here, and on the construct, I need to get hold of my inventory component. So I'm going to do get player character, get component by class, choose our inventory component, and then get the contents of our inventory, like that. And then I want to do a for each loop with map. like so. And I need to now create the widgets for this. So create widget. I'll create the inventory slot. I need the item. I also need the quantity. So let's go back to that. And add quantity here as a variable. That's going to be editable, exposed on spawn. Okay, and on the construct here, we can set the quantity text to the integer there. Okay, so now if I go back to the crafting menu, I can refresh this, and my quantity value will come in. Now, this will happen every time our inventory component gets updated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and promote that to a variable, inventory component, and I'm going to move that to a side a second, and I'm going to do binding. So bind event on inventory updated. Create event, and we'll do create matching event. And I can now plug that in to the for each loop. Which means I can also replace the variable I just made in there too. When you do this though, don't forget you do need to call it immediately at the start as well. So we'll do inventory updated straight away. There. Okay, so back on the actual inventory updated function event rather, we now need to add this to our scroll box. So there's a box inventory, add child, content, there. Okay, there we go. So next up, just make it appear on the screen. So we're going to go to our character. Well, actually, we'll do it to our inventory component. We'll do it there. Little function here, show crafting menu. And in there we'll do create widget. And we're going to create the crafting menu. Promote to variable, crafting menu. And then add to viewport. When that happens though, we want this to be like basically a toggle essentially, or double check that it's not really open. So you just take the crafting menu out, convert the validated get, and if it's not valid, we create it anew. If it is valid, you can make it so it makes it visible, or you can make it destroy and make it like a toggle. So let's make ours like a toggle. So I'm going to do remove from parent and then clear the value. So now we go back to our player character. And I'm going to do a debug key. So debug key 1. I'm going to take my inventory component and do show crafting menu. And now push 1, and there's our crafting menu. Now, to see the population of the inventory itself correctly, I'm going to go to my inventory component, and I'm going to go to the content. I'm just going to add some content to it. So I'm going to do berry, I'm going to have 3 of those, and flour, I'm going to have 20 of those. Compile, go back, and there is our inventory. Okay. So there you go, we've now got our UI started up. We can now see our inventory on the screen, and we've got the crafting menu ready to go. What's next is the drag and drop feature to drag items from our inventory into our crafting menu to help us craft something. So let's take a look at it in the next episode, which you can find right now over on patreon.com/Ryan Laley. We can find all our videos early before everyone else. Massive thank you to all our patrons and YouTube members for their continued support in the channel. If you haven't yet already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Bye.